We're here with Orin Opperman, who's running for San Carlos Park Fire District. Welcome, Orin. Appreciate you meeting here today with the editorial board of the Naples Daily News and with the Bonita Banner. Can you spend the first minute and a half or two here and tell us a little bit about your background, please?
Sure. I live in the San Carlos Fire District. I've been dealing with fire issues for the last 25 years. Moved here about 11 years from the Florida Keys, and where I lived, just outside of Key West, we had no fire protection. So I pushed the county and did everything I could. We surveyed the Keys. Today, I think what I did has led to a fire station. We had gaps in coverage. Also, I wanted to learn more about fire safety and the whole issue. I took a 200-hour course with the North Naples Fire District, and I took the state test and I got a license as a fire inspector. Also, in my professional life, I'm a bail bondsman. I've been in that business for about 25 years, and basically I loan money to specialized banking is what I do. I have one daughter, 29, and I have a wife, and I live right off Alico Road in the heart of the San Carlos Fire District.
And I assume you believe that your experience and knowledge about the fire department, the fire operations, transfer as well to San Carlos Park and what's going on there now.
Well, I did a lot of the Keys. I used to go to the stations and meet. We had a very bad system in the Keys. We had volunteers. And I used to drive from the station to the maximum districts where the firemen would have to respond. And it was 10 or 12 minute response time. And I had found people have died because of that. But I think also we need to look at cost. And if we have a huge cumbersome fire district that could have been consolidated with another one to cut costs, that would be great. One example was the San Carlos Fire District, I think 6 years ago, wanted to buy $1 million 6-story ladder truck. At that time, there were no 6-story buildings in San Carlos. So why did we need a $1 million fire truck? Since that time, we do have now, I think in the university, there's 1 or 2 6-story buildings as you enter the campus at FGCU. So that's fine. If we have purchased that now, that's fine. Does that answer your question?
Tell me what's going on in San Carlos Park now that's applicable to your previous experience, either in the Keys or through the training with North Naples.
It's a complicated issue. I've gone to the meetings. I didn't feel welcome. There was tension in the air. They like to keep their cards close to their chest. Last time I ran, I found out they had around a $7 million surplus. So then we had the economy go in the toilet. And instead of the board saying, you know what, these people are having trouble paying their taxes, there's a lot of foreclosures, unemployment, why don't we help the community out and cut the rate just a little bit? Right now, my house taxes are about $2,200. 25% is for the San Carlos Fire District. That's a pretty high. I don't know if it's $450 or $540, somewhere around $500. That's a pretty hefty price tag. And every time there's something on the web or in the newspaper, I'm reading it concerning firemen. And what I've discovered is, I don't know the exact figures, but Fort Myers is spending approximately 74% of their budget for police, fire, and their retirements. So the firemen coming in now and the police are not getting these sweetheart deals, because the taxpayer, it's unsustainable. We can't give these people 100% retirement or even higher in some cases on the beach. So the people coming in now are having to take less. Now, I'm not against, I want everybody to have a nice paycheck and a nice retirement, but there's a point of diminishing returns. And if you look around the country, Stockton, California, there were 2 in Louisiana. Detroit primarily went bankrupt because they couldn't pay the pensions for the police and fire. They were just unobtainable. The tax dollars coming in could not cover those costs. And I think that's one of the biggest problems we're going to be facing in the future, is trying to cover the fire department's retirement. And I think your paper has some past articles concerning that, and it's an eye-opener. I think one chief of police retired on the Fort Myers Beach, and I think he got 110% of his pay for he put in 20 or 30 years, and he's retiring at 110%. It's kind of ridiculous.
Outside of the pensions, with the firefighters, the rank and file, do you think their pay is appropriate, or is there an issue that they're not paid enough and other larger
I have not
departments are getting
looked
enough?
exactly at what they're making coming in. I want everybody to have adequate money. But everybody cries, they all cry poverty, but you have to remember the fire department has a lot of free time that a lot of them take second jobs, they run businesses, they produce other income. I don't think they're in it for the actual salary, I think they're in there for the benefits. The benefits are fantastic.
You mentioned one way to save money perhaps would be consolidating with other districts. Do you have any districts in mind, or any particular?
Well,
plan in
there's
mind?
South Trail, which it goes to, there's a station on South 41 by Island Park, and the next San Carlos is just around the corner by the golf course Tierra Verde behind Publix. There's a road. So those two districts can consolidate. That would save quite a bit.
Has there been any talk on that along?
No,
those
they
lines?
don't. They have their fiefdoms. They don't want to disturb anything. You have to also know that you may have a fireman who works in Lehigh and lives on the beach, so he runs for the board on the beach, and his buddy who lives on the beach and works in Lehigh gets on. So the boards are heavily stacked with firemen. So they're going to scratch the back of their buddy on the other one, and that's what I came across when I went to these meetings, and the boards are heavily stacked. And if we had term limits and more people would wake up, the people are really, they're asleep. They don't know what's going on. The only way it's going to wake them up is if we have another economic crisis and people start looking at their taxes and go, gee, what's this $500 for the San Carlos fire do? I didn't know we were paying that much. But right now I think people don't care. They're isolated, they're busy going to work, they've got other worries, family and paying their bills and getting to work and making their mortgage. I thought we were pretty much, I thought our economy was picking up. Yesterday I went to lunch and the restaurant I go to was closed. And I said, oh, okay. I went down the street to restaurant number 2 and it had closed. So then when I got home that evening, the house 2 doors up from me just went into foreclosure. The guy backed the truck up and threw everything in. So we're still soft on the economy. I don't care what the government's telling you. Things are not really that good. And getting back to the San Carlos Fire District, their millage rate was less than 2, and the economy got bad. Instead of saying, let's hold the line, use a little bit of our reserves, help the taxpayer. No, what do? They increase the millage rate so that they're still making money, even though less people are paying the tax rate, because a lot of houses went into foreclosure, so they could keep their little nest egg feather down there.
Is that the main issue that you're kind of running on, or do you see some other issues that need
No,
to be addressed?
it's all money. It all comes down to money. High pensions, high tax rate, excess stuff, and a lot of the equipment I think can be recycled. It can be resold overseas. Use that money toward the purchase of new equipment. Yes, I want the fire department to be well equipped and be on there on time, but also you have to know about run reports. These are very important. You have a lady on 41 and she crashes her bike in the trees, and a good Samaritan stops and he calls the 911 and they roll a ladder truck and an ambulance and a supervisor and a police, and all of a sudden you've got an intersection with 6 vehicles from the fire department with flashing lights for a lady that skinned her knees. What they need to do is when they call in, what's your emergency, sir? Well, there's a old woman and she scraped her knee. Is it serious? Is there blood? Do you need an ambulance? No, I think we're okay. Just a regular police officer to take the report or whatever. But you've got to justify. So what they do is they kind of rig the run reports. They did it in the Keys. So they'd have a, cat in the tree run report. Went out at Tuesday. So in actuality, the number of fires are declining. The number of fires are declining because of smoke alarms and better safety, and they're down, except for, I was told in fire school, candles. People put all the candles, and that causes fires. So the other day I was at a stop sign in San Carlos, and San Carlos van pulled up from the fire department. It's about a $30,000 Ford van, and it was education for the San Carlos Fire District. Now, when I went to the meeting, I didn't think they should voice to approve a $31,000 van for a girl to cruise around to the schools. Why don't they pay her mileage and a little bit upkeep for her car? It would have saved the taxpayers quite a bit. But if you look at their budget, I went online and the current stuff is not there. I'm dealing with the old stuff, so I don't think they really want. When I went there, that chief was kind of kept everything close. They don't want the public to really know what's going on. And they had like $12,000 for furniture. Well, the furniture was perfect.
Are you talking about the current chief?
It's the same one. Yeah.
Okay.
They have line item where they have all this stuff budgeted to make it look, in case, a chair breaks, they have money to do that. But I think there's too much reserve, and it's around $7 million. I don't know what it is now because I can't get the figures. I'd have to go down there, and they'd say, "Who are you? And why are you asking this?" And this is a fiefdom. These districts are quite amazing. I had no clue until I got in the Keys, and I didn't look for this. It sort of came to me. Mm-hmm. So when I moved from Key West up here and moved my business up here, it was kind of a natural. When I got my tax bill, I said, "Whoa, this is quite high." And I think the public should know about this, and I hope the Banner and the news press, everybody, not the news press, the Naples Daily News, people are willing to get educated, read these articles that you're writing, and wake up to the fact that their tax dollars are a little higher than they should be.
Could you talk about why a voter should vote for you over your opponent?
Well, I believe in term limits. I think she's been in there too long. We have a term limit on the president, vice president. I think we should change fresh people. It's good to put fresh people in there. I don't think people should die in office. Some of these congressmen and senators, Strom Thurmond, what was he, 90, coming in there? So, yeah, it's good to change. Let the voters have a choice. And I don't see anybody else running in this district. I'm the only one. Nobody, I asked a few people in the neighborhood, but they kind of, well, I'm too busy. And I said, well, I'm busy too. This morning I got a call at 12:30. I set the alarm for 4. I was underway at 4:30. I got back home at 6. I slept till 9. I went to the office again. So you can't, it doesn't work with me. I work long hours with little sleep, and I'm willing to help the community, and I wish more people would have run.
What is your business?
Bail bonds. I loan money to get out of jail.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that you've observed and you want to come in and change these? You're one of 5 board members. You've got the chief who's come up through the department for whatever, 15, 20 years now. Can you talk about how you as one commissioner would come in and change that?
Well, I'm having the same problem. I'm on the board of the HOA. There's 5 members, and they just spent $9,000 for a pool heater, $9,000 for electronic gate, and $31,000 for a children's play area. That was originally $28,000. They put it in the dump. well, everybody voted 4-1 on Mr. No, and I think when I get on that board, I will be outvoted. You have 3 or 4 other firemen on the board, and I'll be outvoted. But at least it's a start to try to educate the public, to maybe shame these people into doing the right thing. And I'm just hoping I can get the public to wake up a little bit and take a more active role in their taxes.
The top 3 issues you think that the district needs to tackle?
Consolidation, millage rate, and that retirement system.
Does the fire department have much say over the retirement system? Is it a statewide system?
I'm not sure if it's a statewide system. I think it's within that district. I could be wrong. I'd have to dig further on that. But what I've read in the newspaper through the years, it's. I wish I had gone into that. It's a sweet deal. It really is a sweet deal. Well, the President of the United States makes $400,000. His retirement is $200,000. Why should other people retire with 110% of their pay?
How do you think the board and the administration's doing in keeping up with all the growth that's coming up around San Carlos Park and in the district?
Yeah, I think they're okay. The roads aren't too clogged. I came down here. Your roads were pretty busy. I had forgotten how busy Naples was. They have adequate stations. There's 3 stations, one in Ben Hill Griffin, one behind the golf course at Terra Verde, and one directly in the San Carlos Park area. The San Carlos Park area station that's the primary station for San Carlos Park, but it's getting a little elderly, so they're probably going to come to us for a higher millage rate to rebuild that station. Again, it's the Benjamins. It's all about the dollar. So.
How have you been campaigning? Have there been forums and debates and stuff?
No, I think I ran for the congressional district out of Key West as a. I got on the ballot. I had to get 10,000 signatures, and I spent 0, and I got 2.5% of the vote, which I thought was remarkable. I got thousands of votes out of Miami Beach, people I never met. I could turn around today and spend $5,000 running for this office, but I don't think it'll really help. I think it's you've got all these firefighters that are going to go to the board, to the voting booth, and they're going to vote for their buddies and get them in. I don't know if what little I've done with the neighborhood and talking to people, but again, somebody's got to take a stand, somebody's got to run. If I don't win this time, I'll come back in 2 years and run against the 2nd or 3rd seat or whatever.
Have there been forums where you've had a chance to
No,
talk
there's
directly one-to-one with
No, there's been nothing. This is as close as we can get. Again, I don't think the issue is really, nobody cares. Look at this bombardment of this Chris and Rick Scott ads on TV. It's phenomenal. They're spending the highest in the nation. I think it's in the billions of dollars for ads, and people are like glassy-eyed when they come on and they change the channel because it's overkill. So they're not going to pay attention to the San Carlos Fire District. They could care less. So.
You ran before, what, in 2000, 8 years ago or so, or did you run 4 years ago?
Trying to think. Yeah, I think it was 4 years ago. My wife and daughter ran. That got us a little bit of press.
Yeah.
But
For the same position?
well, we picked 3 people and just San Carlos, same thing. It was
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of a job do you think the chief's been doing? He's been there for, what, a year now or so?
Is it a new
Yes,
chief? No, he's been there for many years.
But as far as chief, didn't he just become chief a little over a year ago? Or yeah.
He had an Italian sounding name. Do you know the name of the chief? Or Napolito, am I saying?
Ippolito?
Ippolito, okay. He was the same one 4 years ago that he was showing us stuff and giving us the venue or whatever was going on at the meeting. But I don't have a beef with him. I don't really, I'm sure he's doing a good job. He wants the best for the crew. And until I get on the board and really look at stuff, I'm not gonna make a judgment call at this time.
We're up to about our 20-minute time period. Any final thoughts you
Well,
wanna
I
share?
want to thank you guys for having me here, giving me the opportunity to state my case. I'm hoping we get a lot of people that buy your issue and look online. That would be great. And best of luck to my opponent. And I guess that's about it. Thank you.
Okay.